All right, you ex-Radio Shack customers, listen up. This is a Collins 51J-1. Now, a lot of the experts out there say never was a dash one. Well, on the back of this, it says dash one, and it has a PTO that you can find it on the internet, but it's such an old PTO, you know that it's in a 51J-1. Now, I contacted a guy that's an expert on Collins, and I said on my AM broadcast band one is pathetic. And I started looking at how the coils were designed, and it didn't make any sense to me. Well, anyway, he got back to me. He says, right in the manual, it tells you it's 40 dBs down. So I'm like, oh, I missed that. So I went and read my manual, and it wasn't in it. That's because I found an old manual for Collins 51J-1. I found an article by a guy who says, yeah, this one here is, I'm pretty sure, is the earliest model of Collins 51J. And I downloaded it, I went through it, and sure, it was mine. You know, even with the PTO, the pinout of the PTO, it all matched. So I knew. So I went through it again, and I didn't find it. Now I'm saying, in my mind, I'm saying, okay, he's probably got a 51J-4. So I went and found that manual, and sure enough, they've dumbed the AM broadcast band down. Now that's the bottom band, band one. So last night I got this radio out and I put it on, and I wanted to see if it would get the station out of Canada. No, wouldn't get it. Wouldn't get 77 ABC out of New York. No. So band one is basically useless on this radio. But I want to tell you about this radio. You could spend up to $2,000 for this radio. It's getting incredible amounts of money. Now, I paid $450 for that. I don't remember if that was with shipping. But when I bought it, I was like, you know, I think my birthday or Christmas was coming up. I said, go for it, go for it. Everybody's saying this radio is the best. It's the best. Well, it's not the best for AM broadcast DXing. All right? Just want to tell you that. If you want to get an old tube radio, I don't know which one it is. But I'm telling you, the Hellcrafters, I got to think of the number of that thing. Hellcrafters SX42. It's doing a really good job. It's got really good audio. The problem is the calibration is way off on the dial, and I don't understand why. I told you one tip: make sure that you have the coupling to the capacitor correct when you're on either end of the band. And well, anyway, I explained that got it close. I'm able to get the top of the band calibrated on both ends, but in between it's not linear. Now, I'm starting to suspect that I have to do the calibration the way they say it, the low frequency to 1400 kilohertz. And then the top of the band after 1400 will be out, but in between it'll be linear. I think it's a matter of the points on the dial you pick to calibrate. I was picking the top end, which was 1600. It does do 1600, pretty good on AM, on band one, but it always works better, I told you, on band two, because the ratio of the capacitance to the coils equals more Q, equals more signal. So, but that radio there, the Hellcrafters, it gets the Canadian station and the WABC out of New York. It's got a pretty hot AM broadcast band, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, it does get the 1600 at the edge on the band. And then when you go to the next band, it doesn't start at 1600. It starts at 16.2. So that's a little bit off. So I have to work more on it. But I just wanted to tell you this thing here. If you think this is going to give you a DX machine for AM broadcast, go read the manual. Go get a hold of the Collins 51J-4 and read it, and you'll notice it says the AM broadcast band is down 40 dB, something like that. Anyway, also go look at all the different sections of the radio, because this is a dual conversion. What they put all the sections on, in order to do the AM broadcasts. So they had some type of problem, and they just went with this wacko design. The coils, instead of the coils on the front end of the radio, they have less inductance, and then they use a really large capacitance to make it resonate. And it doesn't really, it's not, the Q is way off. But there's a reason, and I couldn't find the reason. But this radio, there's a lot in this. And what was wrong with mine was the spray deox. Somebody sprayed all the controls in the radio, and it had to be recapped. The cap for the power supply was hanging off. So I redid that. I redid all the caps. And then little by little, I worked my way through the radio, the band spread. I got that eraser. I showed you how to clean the contacts. You know, don't spray it with deox. Now this radio here, if you spray deox, it doesn't cause the band switch to short out. The Hellcrafters, that's the main problem with that radio. With the Hellcrafters SX42, there's a lot of videos, and the person has the wafer switch just goes on fire, and it's usually up when you go to from band A. They turn the front end tube off. When you go to B, they turn it on, and the voltages for that tube are on that band switch, and they go on fire. So I tracked everything down and why and all this different things, but the Hellcrafters radio is overhyped. You find a couple guys that say it's nothing special. Well, it's special. It gives you FM. It gives you a couple different things, a lot of bells and whistles, but when you get down to it, it's really not a great radio. It does a lot of things, but not particularly well. Particularly, I'm getting like Trump. Basically, yeah. So with the Hellcrafters, stay away from it. It's an overpriced radio. This is really overpriced, especially if you have to go in there and undo all the things the person did to it. Now, you got to recap the radio. You're not going to get lucky. You know, yeah, the radio might work, but it's not going to work as good as it should. But this radio, it doesn't have capacitors. When you tune the tuning, it's got pistons. I showed you. I went extensively on my radios. I showed you. I looked at what other people did on the videos, and then I didn't do it. I went and did what actually goes wrong with it, actually how it works, what to look out for. I did a different video. I just don't stand in front of the radio with my smiling face saying, look what I have, you don't have it. I got it for only $450 instead of $1,000. That I don't do. And I don't turn the knobs and show you different, because it's worthless to do that. So skip this radio if you really want an AMDX rig. And I know that hobby, AMDXing, is dying really fast. There's only a few of us left doing it. And it's nostalgia. And you pay a nostalgia tax on this radio. And nostalgia tax is what the radio went for originally. Then you what you pay for it now. You subtract what it went for from what it costs now. And all that money is nostalgia tax. They know you want the radio because you always wanted one as a kid. And now there's a nostalgia tax on it. And that's what you're looking at. It's sad. But I bought the radio. I read about it. I read all the reviews. And nobody ever said that the AM broadcast band is dumbed down until after I bought the radio. And then I realized that problem. I kept searching and searching. Finally found someone that mentioned it. And of course, the guy come up with well, that's because the radio was designed to work on a whip antenna. No, it wasn't. You can't believe the nonsense you find. Now, I have that new AT&T unit that lets me have unlimited internet access. Before, I only had 100 gigs a month. Now I can stream. I can do radio stations. I really don't need these radios now, but I really like radios. It was a fun time in my life. You have different. I had friends that were into motorcycles, cars, and I was into radios and knowing the radios and wiring and all that. I was able to help them with their cars. So they didn't make any comments about my radios because I was helping them with their cars and their motorcycles. And that was the thing. And they have fond memories of their Harleys that they bought, or the BSA? Yeah, British something. BSR is British Sound Reproduction. BSA is the motorcycle. And a lot of this stuff is just, you had it or wanted it at a certain period of your life. And then as you get older, you either want it again or you want it because you never had it and always wanted it. And I saw this thing, and I had worked on a couple of these, and I never noticed the AM broadcast was bad because I wasn't AM DXing at the time. But this radio does work good on band 2, which would get the Sweet 16 at 1600. It gets it very nicely, but Hellcrafters does better. And I'm zeroing in on why the Hellcrafters linearity of the dial is bad. And it might be because the 2 points I'm calibrating it for, top and bottom, when I do it the right way, the way they do it, everything in between will be linear, but then the outer ones of the edges will be a little bit off. I don't know yet, but I threw this one back on just to confirm that it won't pick up at night on band 1, New York City 77, which is a pretty strong station, and then a Zoomer radio out of Canada at 740 kilohertz. A pretty interesting station. But I have stations that, like during the day, I know that Sweet 16 is tough to get. And I right away, as soon as I get a radio all recapped and redone and calibrated, I pop on Sweet 16. And you can tell right away, the radio does get it, but not as good as some other ones. And, off to the side here, got to shoot past the light. Let's see if it's in the frame. Yeah, right there. That's my DX390. Is it DX390? Yeah, that thing, this thing, I did a video saying that some of the AM radio station, an AM radio station was distorted. That's the station itself's got a problem. It doesn't on all my radios, but I did a mod on the DX390, and I can pick up everything AM broadcast really well with it. But the speaker in it, for my ears, my age, it's not that clear as the Hellcrafters with a bigger speaker on it. So yeah, I'm working on trying to get a radio. The Hellcrafters, tame it down, get it to work linearly on band 1, and it's probably just the way I'm tuning it to a station on the bottom end of the AM broadcast and the top when they recommend 2 other frequencies, and then it'll probably be linear between those 2, and then the outskirts of those, the bottom frequency and the top frequency, will probably be nonlinear. These radios, they're not perfect. This one comes close to it. This Collins 51J-1. If it had done the AM broadcast band 1 better, yeah, this would probably be the holy grail. And there are Collins radios. Is it R8? I think it's an R8. I looked at that. It looks like it might be better on AM broadcast, but I can't afford it. I'm not spending $2,000 for a radio just to get AM broadcasts, which is going to be, it's dying. It's dying off. I think that's it. All right, that's it.